The death toll in the Tai Po fire has climbed to over 100. Chief Executive John Lee will lead government in observing a 3-minute silence in mourning of victims at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Initial findings suggest the fire began on the lower floors of a residential block and spread rapidly after igniting styrofoam boards on windows. And several from an engineering consultancy firm are taken away by anti-graft officers to assist in a probe into the fire. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Quentin Yang. The devastating fire in Tai Po, which has killed over 100 people, was largely put out after burning for about 43 hours. Initial findings suggest the fire began at lower floors of a residential block and ignited styrofoam on windows, leading to the rapid spread of flames. The fire service also confirmed that fire alarm systems in all 8 blocks of the estate were malfunctioning and pledged to take enforcement actions. Evelyn Bai reports.
As the fire at Wong Fu Court was extinguished, authorities said the firefighting and rescue operation has completed. Officials will next conduct apartment-by-apartment searches and investigations, which they said more bodies could be discovered. While the ultimate goal is to allow displaced residents to return and deal with the aftermath promptly, the buildings will be unsealed in phases. Secretary for Security Chris Tang said a preliminary investigation showed the fire began from the lower floors of Wong Cheng House, then rapidly spread upwards after igniting highly flammable styrofoam boards on windows. The high temperatures also caused the bamboo scaffolding and netting to catch fire, burning through branches that broke off and fell, sparking blazes on other floors, he added. Still, he stressed the cause of the fire is still under investigation. Director of Fire Services Andy Young said an inspection suggested fire alarms of all 8 buildings at Wong Fu Court were malfunctioning, as they were found to be silent during tests. He added that the fire service will take enforcement action against the contractor responsible for the fire safety system. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
As the Tai Po fire death toll rose and the fate of many more remained unknown, heavy-hearted residents waited to identify missing loved ones. The government will lower flags to half-mast as a token of mourning starting tomorrow. Evelyn Bai again reports.
Some remains retrieved from the burn site were transported to the Fushan Public Mortuary. Officials said the condition of hundreds of people remained unclear, including dozens of bodies that have yet to be identified. At a nearby community center, residents queued to identify photos of bodies recovered from the burn site. Some left the hall unable to hide their pain, their hearts heavy with loss. Consular officials were also there to verify the casualties related to foreign domestic helpers.
We come here, to double check, to identify whether they are on the list. So we will work together with the Hong Kong governments to expatriate the remains to Indonesia, as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, Secretary for Home and Youth Affairs Alex Mack said the government will provide $200,000 in compensation to the family of each fire victim. A further subsidy of $50,000 will also be provided to each displaced household starting next week. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
The city's anti-graft agency has taken away at least 2 people from an engineering consultancy to their office for investigation over the fire at Wong Fu Court. Around noon, the Independent Commission Against Corruption officers escorted the 2 respectively to their Kowloon Bay office to collect evidence. This is believed to be part of a corruption probe that began yesterday, after the agency formed a special task force to examine whether bribery or misconduct played a role in the tragic fire. The arrests follow earlier police action, in which 3 people from a construction company were detained on suspicion of manslaughter. Authorities have not to rule out further arrests as investigations continue. In the shadow of the charred buildings at Wangfu Court, the city's spirit remains unbroken as volunteer efforts continue for a third day to support fire victims. At nearby Quanfuk Estate, mountains of donated goods were sorted by volunteers, including winter clothing, snacks, canned food, and fresh fruit. This self-organized operation was powered by a continuous string of helpers, many of them young people from different parts of the city. I saw how terrible it was on social media and cried at home, unable to sleep. I'd rather come here to help, a volunteer said. For survivors, this collective generosity has been a beacon of hope. I'm so thankful for the warmth of Hong Kong people. No matter the time, even at 3 or 4 in the morning, they bring you something to eat, a resident shared. Nearby, a team of registered social workers provided crucial emotional first aid. We look out for residents who seem very unhappy and proactively care for them. We're here to accompany them and listen, using our professional knowledge to help them through this, a social worker said. The government's proposal to replace bamboo with steel scaffolding after the deadly Tai Po fire has drawn mixed reactions from the construction sector. Experts warned of potential risks with metal structures, while stressing effective management and regulation remain crucial to ensuring safety. Cheryl Yun reports.
Bamboo scaffolding, parts of which were still seen clinging on the building exterior after hours of burning, has become a focus of the discussion. After Chief Secretary Eric Chan proposed a phased switch from bamboo to steel scaffolding, citing stronger fire resistance. Hong Kong has traditionally used bamboo scaffolding in construction for many years. Construction industry representatives said they will adopt an open mind toward metal scaffolds, but stressed they are not without their own risks. I am not trying to defend bamboo scaffolding, but when metal encounters fire, it will accumulate heat and is more prone to collapsing, said Chow Si-kit, chairman of the Hong Kong Construction Industry Employees General Union. Chow estimated that a full switch would take at least 2 years, factoring in worker skills and the necessary training and a supply of materials. He stressed the main issue lay in tackling mismanagement of construction procedures and cautioned against losing focus. Speaking on the same program, Lawrence Ng, president of the Hong Kong Construction Subcontractors Association, voiced support for a phased transition to metal systems, but noted that they may not be suitable for all renovation projects, especially for older buildings. Noting practical challenges, he said metal systems take up more space, longer time to construct, and are more expensive, but this may just be the cost of advancement. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
In other news, the Trump administration has announced that all green cards issued to individuals from 19 countries, including Afghan nationals, will be re-examined following a fatal shooting near the White House that killed a National Guard member and critically wounded another. The suspect, a 29-year-old Afghan national, is in custody. Evelyn Bai reports.
Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, magnificent person. Started service in June of 2023. Outstanding in every way. She's just passed away.
U.S. President Donald Trump said the other officer, Andrew Wolf, aged 24, was still fighting for his life in hospital. The suspect, who was also wounded but not in serious condition, has been identified as Afghan national Ramanullah Lakhanwal. The 29-year-old reportedly worked in a special CIA-backed Afghan army unit before immigrating to America under a program implemented by the Biden administration. The suspect was clean on all checks before working with the government and again prior to arriving in the country, according to a U.S. official. Lakhanwal will face 3 counts of assault with intent to kill while armed. Writing on his social media, Trump said he would permanently pause migration to the U.S. from all third world countries and end all federal purse to non-citizens. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services said it will re-examine green card holders who immigrated to the U.S. from 19 nations. including Afghanistan, Cuba, Haiti, Iran, and Venezuela. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Russia insisted Ukraine would have to surrender territory for any deal to end the war to be possible, ahead of talks with the United States in Moscow. Ukraine stressed peace would depend on the global community establishing conditions to prevent future aggression. Jimmy Liu reports.
Russian President Vladimir Putin confirmed he had received a copy of the revised 28-point peace plan agreed by the US and Ukraine, now divided into 4 separate components. He recognized that the US has taken into account Russia's position and believed the document could be the basis for future agreements. The Russian president also confirmed he was expecting a US delegation led by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to visit Moscow early next week. However, Putin insisted on his demands, saying the war would only end once Ukrainian troops withdraw from the territories they occupy. The Russian leader warned if Kyiv did not withdraw, Moscow would resort to military means. He said the Crimean Peninsula, which Russia annexed in 2014, and the eastern Donbas region should be a topic for discussions with the US. Still, Putin said he was ready to guarantee in writing that Russia would not attack another European nation. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said peace depended on conditions set by the world ensuring no future aggression rather than Russia's threats or on whatever ultimatums it voices. Zelensky's chief of staff reiterated Ukraine would not sign a deal that calls for giving up territory. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
American shoppers are turning out in record numbers for the Black Friday sales, but early data has indicated moderate growth rates compared to previous years. The National Retail Federation of the United States estimated a record 186 million people are going shopping during the 5-day holiday period, from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday. However, sales growth is expected to slow down to between 3.7% and 4.2% this year, a noticeable difference from last year's 4.8% increase, NRF data shows. Meanwhile, the hunt for bargains is increasingly moving online. Local cloud software company Salesforce projected American online sales on Thanksgiving Day to hit $8.6 billion, a 6% year-on-year increase, with Black Friday expected to be the peak, reaching $18 billion in domestic online sales alone. However, analysts noted these numbers are being kept afloat largely by higher-income shoppers, as less affluent Americans curb their discretionary purchases. Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index closed 87 points lower. Top active stocks of the day, Alibaba was up 90 cents. Checker Fund was down 2 cents. Xiaomi was down 8 cents, while PopMart was up $6.20. On to the weather now, mainly fine and dry. The minimum temperature tomorrow morning will be about 18 degrees in the urban areas and a few degrees lower in the new territories. The maximum temperature will be around 23 degrees during the day, becoming cloudy at night. Moderate east to northeasterly wind, fresh offshore. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. And that's our news tonight. I'm Kunting Yan. Thank you for watching. Good night.